Oh, Lucy. What's that, Ricky? You got some splaining to do. Oh, Ricky. You're just so ridiculous. I've been ridiculous the last couple of days. Wanted to share the ridiculousness with you on this Tuesday, December 5th, 20 and the 23. It's 3:36 p.m. in the snow fields of Valparaiso, Indiana. A little snow action going on today. Look outside on the 40-acre farm field there, and it's starting to melt. We didn't get much, but the older I get, the less I enjoy the cold. So let's get into some action. Yesterday, we talked about the GitLab, and I did not recommend this, but it worked out. It did. Yeah, it did work out. Sometimes even a blind squirrel, you know the rest. GitLab put on a credit spread, 45.50, sold the short, 43, bought the long, 4 contracts expiring Friday. That's this Friday. Collected $200, and then today we closed that because they did a bang up job with their earnings, and they beat on the top, the bottom, and had good guidance. So you need all three these days on those earnings reports in order to get some action. So they were up today. Would have been better if I just bought the stock yesterday and then held on to it. But, sometimes when you're trading, you don't even think about that. So close that out for a debit of $4. So we did end up netting $196 on that trade. But yesterday I went a little wild, probably a day early, maybe a couple days early. Gold and silver. So I spent some money with GLD, some more GL. Oh, that was a put, a 187.50 put on GLD expiring next week for 181. Bought some GDX, that is a minor, and 400 shares at $30.90 for $12,358. Have puts on as well, 5 of those at $30.50, and I believe those are underwater currently. Now they're underwater by 2 cents. No biggie. But these 187.50 gold, the GLD ETF, those are underwater as well currently. Now, the thesis is they're going to find themselves to full profit before these contracts expire. SLV, silver, ETF, 500 shares at 22.44. And then AGQ, which is a 2 times leveraged ETF, 700 shares at 29.27. So yesterday collected $516 in premium and then spent a bunch of money on gold and silver. And then today continued that trend, but added in a little oil. Black Gold, Texas Tea, had the old Boys in the Hood out. I was underwater on those. I just got too itchy on the trigger finger because Robinhood has done what we thought they would do. But they kind of went up without us. So we just went ahead and rolled it all the way out to February, collected $55 for doing so. There's the negative $4 on the GitLab buy to close. But then we did some buying on Alcoa Metals Mining Company, did 3 different tranches today. 500 shares at 25.53, then 300 shares at 25.27, and then before, just let's add some more. 200 more shares at 25.23. Again, don't follow any of these trades. This is whatever the opposite of investment advice is. That's what this is. Then we also said, hey, we'll go back and I'll tell you about this, but CVX, we bought some shares today, 300 shares at 142.75 for $42,825. But if we dial it back to Friday, what we did is we went full risk off on Chevron on Friday. We sold 300 shares at 146.24. Hello. Did very nice on that. And then we went ahead and bought our calls closed for $5 so that I could turn around and sell them. But you can see what went on during the day. Sold the first tranche at 146.24, and then the 500 shares at the end of the day, right before the bell tolled, at 144.78, with the idea that I would be coming back in early this week at less. So if you remember that number right there, 144.78. And then what we bought today was 142.75. So, could easily be lower tomorrow, but over time, it's going to be higher. USO, we've got put contracts out today at 65 strike, 10 contracts for next Friday, collected $720 for doing so. Then we did UCO, which is 2 times leveraged basically with oil, 500 shares at 27.05. And we talked about the Alcoa, and then we decided to go in more on the ExxonMobil, buying 700 more shares at $100.68 for a total of $70,406 bill. So we spent over $250,000 in the last 2 days on gold, silver, oil. They've been around forever, right? They have. So I'm hoping they're around and then they're going up. So that's the thesis. Let's check the board to see where we're at on the expert and the rations for this week. So we've got a little action or a little maintenance to do this week before it's over, but it's only Tuesday. So AbbVie currently underwater. We got 143 calls and they're trading at 144.57. So we'll keep an eye on that. Roll those out and up. Same with Canadian Solar. Today, I think they were down, though. They were down, 2%. So the 23 calls are doing just fine. Yesterday, they were downtown to Chinatown as far as the calls were concerned because the stock price was up. Devon, $43 puts. I thought those were just sitting pretty easy sailing, and they probably are, but they did get a little bit of pressure on them today with Devon Energy closing at Devon Energy 43.78. So still looking pretty good there. EOG 122 puts currently underwater, I believe, at 121.95. Now we did initiate this trade in order to kick off the money tree trade. Sell puts, collect premium, be assigned the shares, lock in the dividend, and they've got a double dip dividend coming up, a special followed by the fixed, about 30 days apart. So if we enter at that number, I'll be just fine with that. But by the end of the week, I'm not sure I'll be able to get in on it. So we'll see what EOG does tomorrow, and then we might have to just buy some shares outright. We'll see if oil cooperates with me. We'll talk about oil more in a minute. So then we would sell calls and be looking to add to the share price from what we are assigned at to then collect the 4 legs of the money tree trade. Put premium, call premium, dividends, and then also share appreciation. So there's EOG. We have the GDX. We put on those puts. They're currently taking gas, but that's fine. Same with J&J. They're underwater, the 155 call, so we'll be looking to roll those out and up. Coca-Cola, they are at close the day at 58.66, so still good to go there. If they get called away at 59, that's fine, because that would be the money tree trade coming to a close on Coca-Cola. Merck is under pressure, but still the 107 looks good on the calls. They're trading at 106.23. If that keeps trending up, that's perfect for me, because I still have to climb out from under the Merck trade anyways. Pepsi 172.50. Pepsi closed at 167.94. So unfortunately, not a lot of pressure on those. Sound Hound, currently they're trading just a bit over $2. I'll probably let them go at $2 and just take the little bit of profit and put it in my pocket. Target, they were way under pressure, and then they turned a little south today. Yeah, they're at 132.88. So that's definitely still going to be pressure this week on the 133 calls, because I'd love to be in a situation where I had to roll those out and up to 134 or higher, 135, if need be. VF Corporation still underwater on the $17 calls, but that was part of the diabolical plan to cut our ties with VF Corp and lock in our losses for the tax loss harvesting. Valero, they're probably under the 126. Yeah, they're at 125.65, which for Valero, because it's a bit of a high beta, that's still going to be some pressure before this week ends, especially if oil does what we believe it will do. 105 ExxonMobil are doing just fine at 87% profit, and that is the current trades expiring this week. S&P meandered today again, didn't it? S&P. So this is the SPX, which of course follows the S&P, but it just meandered today. We were looking for a couple of things. Was it going to try to stretch itself and peek its head over the $4,600 mark? We got an eye on that probability, but then also to consider that the local high is in, we were looking at the number of 45.35, and we didn't come anywhere near that, and haven't since we went right down to like 45.36 before bouncing and then heading back up and creating another new local high. So we are looking for it to do one or the other and make up its mind soon. I'm hoping that it breaks out over the 4,600, but we'll need to see that 45.35 be breached before we decide that it's not going to do a current or a local or a anytime soon 4,600. So have our eyes on that. Silver down again today. So again, we might have been a little early in our trades yesterday, but the setup is looking ripe for it to head up into the $24, $25, $26, $27 mark on the SLV. On the iShares, let's go to gold. GLD, I'm underwater. I bought in at 187.99. Then I have puts at 187.50, and it's currently trading at 187.15. And depending on what gold does tomorrow, we might add one more position to GLD just to bring the cost basis in a little bit more. Otherwise, hang on, because gold's going to be going off the rails of the money train. Going off the rails of the money train. And then looking at USO, USO has been, slapping us around a little bit, because what we thought we had was on November, was it 16th? On November 16th, yes, indeed, it was a Thursday. I'll remember it like it was yesterday. We hit the $67 mark. It was actually just above. It was probably like, if we look right there, 67.52, then we thought, okay, that's the low. Now let's see it go to 73. It did. Let's see it pull back. It did. Now let's see it take out. Now it did a head fake here, went up to like 71, 74, then back down. Or when it went back down in this wave, we said, don't go below 69. It didn't. So I'm like, man, this thing's cooperating. My crystal ball is like on point. And then it's like, here we go. This is what it should be doing. Let's take out that 63 or that 73. Boom, took it out, went all the way up to close to 74. But then it went whoop, shoots and ladder all the way down. Now that was the move we didn't expect, which then increased dramatically the probability that it was going back down to the 67, which it did indeed do today. Now it may have even dipped its toe under that November 16th low. So we got to check it out tomorrow. It could easily continue down and get to about the 66. It should not push lower than 66 if it is indeed going down again tomorrow. And then once it does, we should begin to see our turnaround. When that turnaround happens, then we're going to be taking out our 74, likely taking out 75, and hopefully 76 as well. That's the thoughts, and I'm sticking to them on this Tuesday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe. Like, subscribe, comment. Share with a lovable friend. Do all the things that friends do, and I'll see you in the next video.